One day I was getting ready for school because it was picture day. I had just got new makeup from Easter. I put my foundation on and I thought I looked cute even though the foundation shade made me look sunburnt and the eyeshadow was dark orange. Not a good look. I also wore this ugly musty dress. It was green on the top and the sleeves had brown ruffles. I thought I looked so cool so I went to school. I am still mad at my parents for sending me to school and that. Everyone stared at me while I walked into class, even my teacher. She was telling us to go down to get our pictures taken by our last names and I went in the beginning since my last name starts with C. I went down and then my stomach started to hurt. I ate McDonald's for breakfast because my parents were too lazy to make breakfast. I honestly started to pray to Whitney Houston that I wouldn't chart. I held my hands to my ass and walked to the photo booth. My stomach started to rumble grumble bumble trumble numbler mumble zumble lumble. I tried act natural so I removed my hands from my ass and got ready to take my picture. While I was standing there I did the most soggy doggy, sounded froggy, came out cloggy, looked loggy, made the room foggy, very soggy. I pulled a Nessa Barrett. It made the school building shake so much to the point people thought there was a level 5 tornado. I shat so much that it covered the camera right when they took the photo. When they realized it was my ass and not a tornado, I was immediately rushed to the emergency room and they diagnosed me with the one and only bowel cancer.
Day I was sitting on the bus with my grandma. I took her out for breakfast and we went shopping and whatnot. My grandma is deaf and she had her hearing aid off in the bus. While we were watching out the window I think the big breakfast I ate tore up my stomach because I let out the most aggressive asshole tearing fart so big and powerful the bus window shattered and all 4 tires went flat. The fart was so violent it split my scrotum in half and it melted my grandma's hearing aid into the side of her head. It was so powerful the bus started swerving and the bus emergency alarm started going off. The girls on the bus started crying and calling the police but my whole ripping fart wouldn't stop. It was going so strong that the bus steel started melting and the old couple sitting at the back of the bus died of a stroke. The bus was swerving like crazy because of my demonic weather changing fart busting all the tires. The fart started bringing in rain clouds and we had a massive thunderstorm and the thunder started striking the bus every few seconds. I saw a few people jump out of the windows to escape my paranormal fart and they all were rolling on the side of the road and some of them got hit by passing cars. The bus ran out of fuel and it stopped in the middle of my thunderstorm diarrhea and it finally ended. Everyone turned and looked at me while sobbing and I said to my grandma I can't believe you shit yourself. I apologized to everyone and said sorry my grandma has bowel cancer. My mom told me and my siblings that she had saved up enough money to buy her dream car. We were like yes queen period. Anyways after she picked up her new whip she took us and we got some yummy McDonald's. My phone was on Bluetooth and we were blasting music and having a full-on karaoke session and all that fun shit but of course I had to fucking spill my coke but my mom said it's no big deal but I expected a whooping. The next day while she was cleaning her car we had to go outside because we had a cleaner. I was learning the new WAP dance and didn't realize my phone was still on Bluetooth. So this is what my mom heard.
Now from the top, make it drop, that's a wet, now get a bucket and a mop, that's a wet, I'm talking wop.
My siblings were laughing like bitch fucking shut up. My mom asked what WAP means and I had to go with the classic, and told her it meant waffles and pancakes smirking face. The next day she went shopping with my stepdad. Me and my siblings woke up with waffles and pancakes and had a note that said, had to go to the shops hope y'all enjoy the WAP. We were all laughing on.
One time we had a show and tell. I brought some of my squishies because they were popular. Slime and squishies were both popular that year. I brought my rarest and most expensive squishies because I was dedicated to win the show and tell. The teacher said that whoever brought the best item, they would win something out of the prize box. These kids were bringing the most basic boring shit ever like this one kid named Chattanooga who brought these ugly crusty ass rocks they said were found on the moon. I've seen that rock in my front yard so shut the fuck up. This other kid brought their stained white Crocs. What the fuck is so special about those dusty ancient moldy off-brand athlete's foot Dunkeroy monkey cock stain offensive Crocs? When they took their croc off their foot I could smell it from the back of the class. It smelled funky, Dunkeroy, hunkeroy, crunky, chunky, smelly, New Delhi, pork belly. Then they called me and it was my time to shine. I took out each and every one of my squishies and people started to laugh. I grabbed my real Kuma squishy and all of my other ones and started yonky bonkying everyone. I knocked Smelly Kelly's front tooth out. I snatched Squash and Natasha's weave out her head and I ripped out Fat Pat's fake eyelashes. I was sent to detention and threw my extra squishies at the principal and the front desk lady. I was sent home and was expelled. I became sick and couldn't go back to school for a week.
So there used to be this girl in 3rd grade called Emma and she was the biggest Norris Nut fan. Like she would sing their songs non-stop like girl shut the fuck up already. She would wear Norris Nuts merch to school and yell that she was kawaii to the whole school. You woo. Anyways, one day me and my friend group were late to lunch. So the only seats available were the ones next to musty crusty Emma. Since we didn't know anything about her except that she had a Norris Nut obsession, I started talking about how Bubba got stepped on by Daddy Justin. Oh lord, it was a mistake. She started huffing and puffing and suddenly guinea pigs started dropping from the air. The whole school was panicking. It was surreal. Everyone got out of their seats and started running away from Emma. Emma started chasing us in slow motion while singing.
Unfortunately Emma had already caught 3 kids and started feeding them to the guinea pigs. I should have never said anything to her.
I used to have this art teacher and everyone hated her. She was the biggest bitch like she was literally so mean and strict and for what? What was the reason? Anyways, one day she was really testing my limits and she had the motherfucking audacity to rip up and throw away a project I worked on for a week because she said it quote unquote wasn't good enough and that I never even try in her class. Even though I worked so hard on it and I did the best I could. I was mad at her for saying I didn't ever try and that my work wasn't good enough for her so I was thinking to myself shut your bubble gum dum skin tone chicken bone Google Chrome no homo flip phone disowned ice cream cone garden gnome extra. Chromosome metronome dimidome genome full blown monochrome student loan. Indiana Jones overgrown Flintstone X and Y chromosome friend zone Sylvester Stallone Sierra Leone AutoZone Friend Zone professionally seen Silver Patron big-headed ass up, and out of anger I grabbed my backpack and said no, I am gonna leave, my way or the highway, and I stormed out of that ugly bitch's class and flipped her off on the way out. I deadass ran out of the school and walked all the way home since I lived close to the school. My mom asked me why I was home early and I told her what happened and she was surprisingly proud of me, so proud that she took me out for ice cream. I was suspended for 3 days for doing that, but oh well, fuck that bitch. And when I was 9 I was giving my mom a back massage. I was sitting on her back and I wanted to fart, but instead I did a shart and piss combo so wet and stinky your nose would turn into dust if you smelled it. She immediately jumped up and my hot diarrhea splattered all over our brand new carpets. She went and showered and I could hear her crying. When she got out she made me clean the shit on the carpet with my blanket. She made me sleep with the blanket that night and I was crying in bed. The smell of my blanket was that bad I vomited, and because the pressure of my vomit was so harsh I did another shit and piss combo. I was crying as I rolled around in my filth and my mom came in and screamed when she saw it. She said, how can someone so little have so much shit inside of them? She showered me and she then made me sleep on the couch because she didn't want to risk me sharting in her bed. We then bought a new bed set for me and replaced our carpets.
One day, I was at school. We were in science class and we were making explosions and shit. I was a bit of a rebel in school, so I decided to mix every ingredient I could find into one bowl. I then proceeded to heat it over a Bunsen burner. I now realize that was a bad mistake. It exploded all over the students. It made the school shake, caused an earthquake. Even my teacher, Mr. Bumcrack Shakalak, was covered head to toe in this creamy mess I had created. My head teacher, Mrs. Basila Moldymole, expelled me from school for 1 week. But I said, nah, fuck you bitch, and I walked like a badass out of my school, with a baddie playlist on. I came back to school the next day and everyone was so impressed by me. Every time I have science I am not allowed to participate. The explosion I made that day was as loud as a hippo giving birth. I am now the most popular person in the school and everyone wants to be my friend. Mr. Bumcrack Shakalak wants to be my boyfriend, and Mrs. Basila Moldymole said she would be lesbian for me. So suck on that, bitches.
This one time when I was little I thought I could talk to trees, because I had no friends. And I used to sit by them and say things, and one day I was talking to my tree friend called Kevin, and this girl went up to me and said, are you talking to that tree, freak? And I started crying and hugged onto the tree. And while she was laughing one of the branches fell on the girl's head. Thanks Kevin.
I hate when you're like in class and you have the most sorest of tummy and your head is like burning and you say to the teacher, I really don't feel well. All I want to do is go home. Like, you're literally in tears. And she's like, I don't know if I believe you. It's like, what? I am standing here in tears. I'm about to throw up. And you're saying you don't believe me? Does it look like I'm pretending? Because it doesn't for me.
One day when I was packing my lunch, my grandpa asked me what I was eating, so I told him I was gonna eat a sandwich, apples and Takis. He asked what Takis were and I said they were spicy chips. He asked to try one, but my grandma told me that if I gave him a Taki I would regret it. I gave him one anyway. When he bit the Taki he jumped 65 feet in the air screaming. He was asking for milk and we gave him milk, but we forgot he was also lactose intolerant. While he was drinking the milk he ran out of the room and tripped on our pet pussy. He started farting and it sounded like we lived next to NASA when a rocket is about to launch. He let out the longest sloppy gloppy bloppy moppy noppy copy loppy floppy sloppy. When he fell I heard his back crackle McFrackle tackle. His back cracked, the cat attacked, roaches get attract, he broke his back, his shit turned abstract, he fell on the floor and couldn't get up no more, he was very sore, he looked like a dead boar. The pussy went bonker yonker plonker knocker conkers. We rushed him to the hospital and found out he died from a ruptured rib cage and explosive diarrhea.
It was Halloween one year and we were handing out candy to the little undeserving bastard shits that knocked on our door. This one fat ginger bitch knocked on the door and of course she chose the biggest candy bar in the bucket and she said she wants another one. I said, listen here you tubby orange bitch, you get one fucking candy bar, you don't look like you need another one. She grabbed another candy bar from the bucket and started laughing at me and I said to her, if you weren't in a costume I would think you were the grand pumpkin, you giant orange bitch. She took her shoe off and threw it at my face, and that's when I lunged at her and tackled her off the balcony. I started pulling at her orange haystack hair and she started screaming for her dad. Her dad dragged me off the little ginger bitch and he yelled at me saying, who the hell beats up a 7-year-old? I said, me you old twat, and I took her entire bucket of candy and walked inside. The cops came over and I started fake crying saying she attacked me first and I was defending myself, and my dog was agreeing and defending me. The police went to the tubby ginger thought's house and shot it up. That's what you get for messing with me, you expanded Ed Sheeran looking bitch.
Okay, so one time when I was in class I had the very aggressive urge to fart. I was scared it was more than a fart, so I asked the teacher to go to the bathroom and she said yes. I ran down the hallway with my hands on my butt preparing for the worst. I reached the bathroom and slammed the door shut and had the most stinky, slinky, dinky, double-decker Twinkie, extra pepperoni, piggy, sticky shard in the whole world. The walls started to cave in and I'm pretty sure I saw Jesus out the window. The fire alarm went off and everyone was screaming. They thought Thanos snapped his fingers. I screamed in the bathroom sounding like a dying goat. I stopped after 5 minutes and felt like I just killed half the all-known universe myself. Okay, so one time in class it was my birthday and I brought in these cupcakes for everyone to share. There is this one kid who is very allergic to gluten and so I thought I bought gluten-free cupcakes. I was wrong. When we started to eat the kid's face turned green and asked if he could use the bathroom. The teacher said yes, but as soon as the kid stood up the most aggressive thick, double-decker brick, do a flip, really hot chick, not so quick shard in the whole universe, the window shattered and the sprinklers went off, everybody swore they saw Satan outside. The kid sharded for like 5 minutes straight with no breaks. He got the shart all over his chair and all over the walls. Once he was done he was taken to the hospital for how aggressive the shart was.
So when I was in 4th grade, slime was really popular. It was so popular to the point everyone was making it and people would trade their slimes all the time. I was one of those people. I also did YouTube videos and some of the kids from my school would watch them. I basically did slime tutorials and I would sell my slimes for 50 cents. One time I got a comment from this girl named Augusty Musty. She commented on my video saying how she wanted to buy the slime I made. I said yes of course. The next day at recess we both met behind the basketball courts. I brought the slime she asked for and told her that it would cost 50 cents. This bitch said she only brought a quarter. She kept demanding me to give her the slime for a quarter so I had enough. I slapped that hoe in the head with the slime and the slime got stuck in her hair. I started putting more slime in her hair. Then when it was all in there I yanked the slime out. I swear I ripped so much hair out of her head that she looked like an egg. Her hair came out in clumps and it looked like she had lice and fleas. I pulled her hair so hard it made her shart. She pulled the most clumpy, Donald Trumpy, very lumpy, made her grumpy, Humpty Dumpty, smelled like a dumpy, made roads bumpy, made me thinky, it smelled stinky, made the boys winky, marker inky, wanna linky, I ran far, hit her with a car, went to the bar, twinkle twinkle little star, gave her scars, smoked cigars, sounded like a jaguar, went to Mars, should I have ever seen. She went to the hospital and she turned out to have bowel cancer.
My mother's first language is Spanish, so sometimes when I talk to her in English, she'll forget a word or two, but not a problem. She'll just create new words no one else was brave enough to use. She took my little cousins to the mall once, and this is what she told me when she got back. She was like, it was so cute. I took the kids on one of those, El Horse Tornado or whatever. You know what it is. I'm sorry. El Horse Tornado? I'm gonna need you to elaborate. And she was like, you know what I'm talking about. You put that attitude down, you put it down. I was like, okay, putting it down. Sorry. She said, don't try me. I'll kick your ass. And I was like, you don't need to kick my ass. Just put me in a horse tornado. I'll be terrified. You think you're funny? Mom, how would you act if someone said that to you in Spanish? Tornado de caballos. That sounds horrifying. She was like, okay, that's pretty funny. Merry-go-round, by the way.
I find it so annoying when you go to your friend's house and they say their room is like super messy and dirty and they're like, just ignore the mess. Sorry, I forgot to clean my room. So, you know, you're expecting like an unmade bed and a few clothes on the floor. Wrong! You go inside their room and it's literally spotless. No clothes on the floor, no shoes, no socks, nothing. Like, huh? What is dirty here? If that's messy, I would advise you to not come into my room ever. If that's messy, mine is a literal zoo and junkyard.
This one time when I was little I thought I could talk to trees, because I had no friends, and I used to sit by them and say things, and one day I was talking to my tree friend called Kevin, and this girl went up to me and said, "Are you talking to that tree, freak?" And I started crying and hugged onto the tree, and while she was laughing one of the branches fell on the girl's head. Thanks Kevin. This one time when
Pretty sure my parents have very selective hearing. I would be there minding my own business, doing my own thing, right? And then I would hear my mom screaming my names from the bottom of the stairs. So I would go like, what? Really loudly. And so many times, but she literally wouldn't be able to hear me. Then I would have to go down and my mom would just be there asking, oh, what are you doing? But when it's like 2 a.m. in the morning and I'm calling my friends, whispering, barely making a sound, basically just breathing, she would already be storming to my bedroom, half asleep, yelling at me to shut up. How does this work?
Storytime of how I figured out that my sister was trying to kill me. So me and my sister were like best friends when we were little, but she was a very, very jealous person. So years and years go on, but her jealousy seems to start to grow. So I never really thought about it until I found out that she really wanted me dead. But throughout the years, she would do little things to get me hurt. For example, she pushed me off the top of our treehouse and I ended up breaking my arm. But every time I got hurt, my family would baby me and she would get even more mad. So at this time, we're about 16 years old, and I had to go in her room to get her laundry. And under her laundry, I found her diary, or journal, or whatever you call it. I was flipping through the pages, I found out some interesting and crazy things. Then one was named The Perfect Murder. What an original name. She had this big, huge dresser in her room. She went into a lot of detail about how she was going to kill me. But it stated that she was going to push the dresser on top of me and jump on it until I, then scream for help. I'm running out of time, like for part 2. Storytime of how
Is it just me, or when you're like taking a test or something, and you have this one problem that you seriously don't know, like it's so confusing. So then you go up to the teacher and you go like, well, I don't know this and it's so confusing, I don't even know how to figure it out. Then the teacher goes, just try your best. How am I supposed to try my best if I can't even figure out one solution to solve it? Like, someone help me on that, because like I'm so confused right now. Like, how am I supposed to try my best? Like, teachers these days. Is it just me, or when you're like taking a test or something, and you have this one problem that you seriously don't know, like it's so confusing. So then you go up to the teacher, and you go like, well, I don't know this, and it's so confusing.